Hey Joshua, what kind of laces do you use? Who's Josh? What's going on, guys? John from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you another Q&A video, your football boot related questions and my answers to them, all pulled from my Instagram, which is weirdly named SR4U_Josh. So if you'd like to ask a question to be featured in the next Q&A episode, go follow me there. It's linked down below. Don't know why I'm fixing my hair, but if you guys do enjoy the Q&A series on this channel and want to see it continue, don't forget to support this one with a like. That lets me know that you want to see more. If you're new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on daily football boot content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. On to the questions. Hey Jamal, what happened to the What's in My Bag series? It's not dead, it just went on vacation for a little bit. I'm actually planning on doing a new episode probably within the next month. I don't want to make any promises, but the series is coming back. I kind of just took a little bit of a break from the series, mainly because I had done so many months in a row. I almost felt like it was maybe getting a little bit stale. I know it's a lot of people's favorite series on the channel, but trust me when I say it will be making a return very soon. Hey J Mike, how can I fit in boots that are not my actual size? This is actually a pretty common question that I get asked, and there are two answers. Answer number one is have the ability to shape shift, and answer number two is you don't fit in boots that aren't your size because they're not your size. That's the reason why they make sizes in the first place. If you buy the right size, they fit you properly. If you don't buy the right size, they don't fit. It's very simple. Do you have any pregame rituals? I'm pretty sure someone asked me in one of the Q&A episodes at least if I had any superstitions, which I feel kind of falls under pregame rituals, and I don't. There's really nothing special that I do or nothing that I feel the need to do in order to perform properly. My warm-up is pretty simple, honestly. My warm-up is mainly focused around me just feeling loose. So I like to juggle the ball. I like to make a couple passes, take a couple of shots. For the most part, I kind of like to warm up almost on my own and kind of just get myself more so just mentally prepared to play. Other than that, I really don't do anything special. And if your boots have SR4U laces, you pretty much don't even have to warm up. Jujube, what sneaker and shoe technologies from other sports would you like to see on football boots in the future? I said this in a recent video, but I really feel like 3D printing is probably the next big tech innovation in the football boot industry. What those boots are going to be like and how different they'll be from what we have right now, that I don't really know. But for me, the one technology that I really would like to see introduced in football boots would be some kind of a cushioning element either to the sole plate or to the insole. With Nike, I think Zoom Air technology should make a comeback, and with Adidas, while they technically have Boost in the current top-end Predator 19 Plus, I don't think that it's done in such a way that it makes for that big of an impact, and I think they could do a better job. But for me, in general, I would really like to see some kind of enhanced cushioning on modern football boots, because that is legitimately something that could make for a difference in feel that would not only benefit comfort, but could technically benefit performance as well. Comfort, I would say, is a very important aspect of football boots. The only reason why companies, I don't think, haven't made a bigger push for this type of thing is because it's something that is hard to market and hard to get people excited about. Nobody really cares about a technology that's underneath their feet that nobody can see and it's inside of the boot. So for that reason, I think a lot of these brands, Nike being the main culprit with having Air Zoom at one point and then taking it away, is why should they spend the extra money to include these elements in the boots if nobody really cares about it at the end of the day? So I'd like to see some kind of enhanced cushioning, but I don't necessarily see it being a big thing anytime soon. When is the Phantom Mercurial coming out? Hopefully never. Jamalio, what a name. Is NSG as pointless as ACC? So for those that don't know, Adidas NSG, which stands for Non-Stop Grip, was without question a response to Nike's very popular at the time and still to this day ACC all conditions control technology, both of which are basically wet control elements. I know it's all conditions control, it's supposed to be optimal grip in all conditions, but realistically you're only looking for that extra grip when it's legitimately slippery, which is in the wet. The difference between ACC and NSG is that NSG were physical dots on the upper that you could see. So if a boot had NSG, you could see that it had NSG, where in the case of ACC, unless they write ACC on the boot, there's really no way to know whether or not the boot does in fact have ACC, although it did get to the point where Adidas put out certain models with NSG, at least the logo on the upper, and then it very clearly didn't have the dots. So both technologies, I would say, are equally as useless, and there's a reason why NSG is not around anymore. Never really caught on, so who cares? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that these technologies do absolutely nothing, but they're such small elements of these very complicated boots, and if that little element that, in the case of ACC, is completely invisible, gives you that extra confidence boost that you need, especially in wet weather, to have a better touch, that's great. But in my opinion, it's not something that I would buy a Nike boot over anything else just because I want ACC technology, or in the case of Adidas, nonstop grip. Joffrey, what was your favorite position as a kid, and would you say you got to play there all the time? So I played pretty much every position growing up. In my younger years, I played as a defender, mainly as a center back, and then one season the goalie ended up breaking his arm, and I was the dumb kid who raised his hand to volunteer to be the backup goalie for basically the entirety of the season. So for about a season and a half, it ended up being I was the goalkeeper. And then as I moved out, went back to defense. And then as I got a little bit older, I played mainly in central midfield, a little bit on the wing. And then as I got even older, right around 14, 15 years old, I played pretty much exclusively as a striker. And that is kind of my go-to position to this day. Although I have played on certain teams where I've played as a very offensive left back or right back, which honestly, I really enjoy doing depending on the team. If the team is really good, it's a great position to play. If a team is very unorganized, then you're pretty much lost and being blamed for everything. So in general, I'd like to play as a striker. I liked playing as a striker as a kid, but I think learning to play every single position is very important in terms of just growing as a footballer and really understanding the game as best as you possibly can. Which is your favorite indoor shoe of all time? I cannot speak for J Mike, but if you would like to hear the both of us discuss the latest in football boot news on a weekly basis and you're not subscribed to the Boot Nerds Podcast YouTube channel, what the heck are you waiting for? There's a little pop-up on screen. Go and subscribe if you haven't already, with the audio-only versions available at bootnerds.com, so be sure to go ahead and check that out as well. As far as your question is concerned, good sir, my personal favorite indoor of all time, I have two that come to mind. The Nike Lunar Gato would be one, or is it the Lunar Gato 2? It's the Lunar Gato 2. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain cramp there. And then probably I would say the one that I prefer the most in terms of just wearing it more than the Lunar Gato 2 would be the Adidas Copa Indoor, formerly known as the Copa Mundial Goal, or maybe it was just Mundial Goal. Either way, I really like those. It's very old school. It's kind of clunky. It's a little bit bulky, but I find them very, very comfortable. And I just like simple kangaroo leather boots. That, I think, is a really underrated option, especially considering that it retails for like $95. Josh Washington, are the Phantom Venom direct remakes of the T90s? Are they the best power boots? So given the fact that the T90 line was replaced by the Hyper Venom line, which was replaced by the Phantom Venoms, then technically the Phantom Venom is in the same lineage as the T90 line, which would make it the unofficial latest T90, if you will. And given the fact that it does have a striking element, I think that is a fair thing to say. I even made a video saying that they probably should have called it a T90 and people would have been more excited about the boots and not changed a thing about the boots at all. Either way, as far as it being the best power boot on the market, I would also give it that title, mainly based on the fact that it's probably the only power boot on the market. And I say power boot kind of with a grain of salt because it's not exactly like the power boots that we once had, but in comparison to everything that's currently available, yeah, it's the best power boot. That's power without the vowels, by the way. Hey Jack and the Beanstalk, when is your sports drink and joint supplement coming out? Also, do any other brands have an equivalent to Nike's ACC? Some of you guys may have seen the video talking about the hydration and joint care supplements that I am currently working on. They are still currently being worked on. Progress is being made, and I will have an update for you guys probably within the next couple of months. So just know that that project is still in the works. And as far as your second question is concerned, really, as of right now, it seems like almost everyone has given up on the whole competing against Nike ACC, because how do you really compete against something that is totally invisible but people seem to think is extremely important? They have pretty much cornered the market with Nike ACC technology. Adidas tried with NSG, as I've talked about in this video, depending on what order these questions go up. But yeah, right now, nobody's really doing a major I would say, direct competitor to ACC, mainly because I don't think that anyone really can. Do you believe too much strength training can negatively impact footballing performances? In general, I would say yes, but that's not to discourage you from going to the gym and trying to get stronger. We see pro players at the gym trying to get stronger every single day. That will benefit your performance. I'm kind of thinking of two specific examples in terms of how it could have a negative impact, and these are things that you should avoid. Example number one is kind of a little bit extreme in that it's not exactly realistic or something that isn't going to have an impact on you immediately. But let's say you weigh 150 pounds and over the course of 2 or 3 years, you made your way up to 200 pounds. Now you're 50 pounds heavier, having to run around for 90 minutes. So while you have bigger muscles at this point, if you put on somehow 50 pounds of muscle, that is still a lot more weight for your body to handle. So from an endurance perspective, it's just going to be harder on your body. It is beneficial, I would say, as a footballer to be as light as possible, but also be as strong as possible. So depending on your specific body, your own genetics, it's kind of finding that perfect balance of being lightweight, but also being strong. So something to keep in mind if you're trying to get a little bit stronger. And then variable number two would be, as you strength train, inevitably when you build muscle, it's just going to be tighter. You lose a little bit of flexibility. So while you're training, especially afterwards, it's very, very important to stretch and maintain your flexibility. If you lose your flexibility while your muscles are bigger, while you're stronger, you're going to be more susceptible to injury. And that is partially how I ended up tearing my hamstring last summer. Is I was getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but less and less flexible, basically to the point where my hamstring it tore. What's your personal preference of boots when playing in extreme weather, e.g. snow, heavy rain, extreme heat? So I guess I'll answer this question like this. In normal weather conditions, I'll wear pretty much any football boots as long as I feel like they're broken in and they're comfortable on my feet. In any extreme weather, and I think the three examples you gave are great, snow, rain, as well as really hot weather, my go-to is always a boot with a leather upper. And here's the reason why. In the snow, you have a little bit of softness and seemingly more warmth in a pair of leather boots. When you wear really thin synthetic boots when it's very cold outside, typically when there's snow on the ground, I just have this kind of sensation of my feet being very, very cold and the boots just feeling hard against my feet, which is not a sensation that I'm a big fan of. In the case of rain, for whatever reason, I realize that leather does tend to absorb more water than synthetics do, although modern leather boots are a lot better than they used to be. I just feel like my touch on the ball is better. I have more grip on the ball in wet while wearing leather boots versus synthetics, but that's totally a personal preference thing. And then when it comes to extreme heat, while I just said that leather boots seem to be more warm and feel better on your feet in cold conditions, even when it's the opposite, extreme heat, I just feel like the leather seems to breathe a little bit better than most synthetics, including knitted uppers. So for me, leather boots in extreme weather is what I like to wear. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes yet another Q&A episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you have a question that you'd like me to answer in the next Q&A episode, head over to my Instagram, SR4U_Josh. You'll see it on screen. It's linked down below. Basically what I do is I make a post asking you to ask questions and I pick out the best and most popular ones to answer in the next video. So go follow me on Instagram if you don't already. If you have any questions regarding anything that I talked about in this video, leave it down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below as well. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.